There comes a moment in every life when the question is no longer what if I fail, but what if I never try with everything I've got? That moment is now. You were not born for safety. You were not built to live with one foot on the brake and one foot in the dream. Growth begins the moment you decide that Plan B is a lie you can no longer afford. History is full of people who succeeded not because they had backup options, but because they had no way back. The general who ordered his ships to be burned upon reaching enemy shores did not do it for drama. He did it because warriors fight differently when retreat is not an option. So burn your Plan B, burn the excuses. Burn the stories you tell yourself that comfort you at night. Light a fire so bright behind you that you cannot turn back even if you tried. Plan B is the slow death of potential. It is the whisper that says, if this doesn't work out, I'll still be okay. But you weren't born for okay. You were born for excellence. For fire. For impact. You were born to become someone no one saw coming. It is only when you remove the safety net that your true instincts awaken. You become sharper. Bolder. Hungrier. You stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. You stop dipping your toe and start diving headfirst. That is where transformation lives. That is where explosive growth begins. You must tell yourself every day, there is no other way but forward. You must wake up with a hunger that makes sleep feel like a waste of time. You must walk into every day like it owes you something and you are here to collect. And you will stumble. You will fall. But without a Plan B, you will rise again, because there is nowhere else to go but up. You will face resistance. Doubt will try to seduce you. Fear will knock loudly. But fear is loudest before the breakthrough. Let that be your signal that you are close. The moment you burn your Plan B, your Plan A becomes sacred. Your goals become non-negotiable. Your vision becomes more than a hope, it becomes a demand. Burning your Plan B does not mean recklessness. It means full commitment. It means you stop looking for exits and start building empires. It means your energy is no longer divided. Your mind is no longer at war with itself. You are finally aligned. And alignment is power. If you want explosive growth, you must make a sacred vow, I will not retreat. I will not stall. I will not coast. I go forward, or I die trying. Do not mistake this for motivation. This is identity. This is who you become when you remove every excuse. This is who you were meant to be before the world told you to play it safe. Burn the bridge. Burn the Plan B. Watch what happens when you go all in. Clarity is the fuel of commitment. A torch that is dim will flicker in the wind, but a torch that blazes white hot will carve a path through darkness. After you burn the bridge of retreat, your next task is to forge a goal so vivid that it sears itself onto every wall of your mind. Begin by writing the single result that would change everything. Not 10 possibilities. 1. The grand aim that, if achieved, makes lesser victories automatic. Give it a number, a date, a feeling, a color. Make it tangible enough to taste. This is definiteness of purpose in its rawest form, the cornerstone of Napoleon Hill's philosophy, and nothing great is built without it. Read that goal aloud at dawn when most of the world is still asleep and doubt has not yet found its tongue. Read it again before you close your eyes, so your subconscious can labor on it while you rest. Repetition is not busy work. It is the chisel that turns a vague wish into a carved command. Each recital deepens the groove in your nervous system until action becomes reflex. Then translate vision into strategy. Write 3 high-leverage moves that drive the outcome faster than anything else. Keep them few. When everything is important, nothing is. Strip away the ornamental. Choose the vital. Discipline is choosing simplicity over noise. Next, build a scoreboard you cannot ignore. Place it on your wall, on the lock screen of your phone, inside the journal you carry everywhere. Track daily progress in plain sight. When numbers rise, celebrate. When they fall, correct. Feedback is how the goal sharpens its edge. Now ignite emotion. Logic sets direction, but feeling is rocket fuel. Close your eyes and picture the exact moment of victory. See the faces that will light up because you refuse to quit. Hear the applause, real or imagined. Sense the weight lifting from your shoulders. Let the picture swell until your pulse quickens. What you feel repeatedly, you begin to believe. What you believe intensely, you begin to live. Guard the goal from thieves of attention. Turn off alerts that beg for fragments of your focus. Decline invitations that pull you sideways. If it does not move the target closer, it is a luxury you cannot afford right now. Remember, an arrow travels straight only when nothing bumps the shaft. Surround yourself with voices that reinforce the mission. Read one page of sturdy philosophy every morning. Listen to one mentor whose life embodies the standard you seek. Speak with one ally whose fire matches yours. Environment is a mirror. Stand where the reflection shows who you mean to become. Expect resistance disguised as comfort. A tempting offer to settle. A small success that whispers you have earned a break. Smile at the suggestion and step forward. The moment you compromise on vision, you re-enlist in the army of the average. Hold the line. When fear spikes, confront it with data. List every resource you still possess: skills, contacts, time blocks, hidden strengths unearthed by hardship. Fear shrinks when facts rise. And facts reveal that you are more equipped than your worry admits. Each evening, conduct a ruthless inventory. What did I do today that advanced the goal? What did I tolerate that diluted it? Write answers without excuse. Guilt is useless, clarity is gold. Resolve the lesson, then shut the journal. Tomorrow begins clean. Remember that progress is not always loud. Seeds germinate in silent soil before they break the surface. Some days your victory will look like inches gained, not miles. Respect the inches. They accumulate into breakthroughs that outsiders call sudden. Finally, pledge loyalty to the process, not the mood. Motivation is a guest, disciplined action is a tenant. Show up whether lightning crackles in your chest or drizzle dampens the sky. Every day you honor the schedule, you pour another layer of steel into your identity. Eventually the habit becomes who you are, and who you are cannot help but hit the target. You have now forged a goal bright enough to guide every decision. Guard it. Feed it. March toward it with the fury of someone whose bridge is already ashes on the shore behind him. Great dreams collapse under the weight of sloppy days. It is not the single gigantic effort that lifts you into the stratosphere, but the steady engine of habit fired again and again without mercy. When you ignite routine with intent, ordinary hours become an unstoppable launchpad. Begin before the world interrupts. Rise earlier than your doubts. While silence still coats the streets, claim the first 60 minutes for mastery. Drink water, stretch the spine, breathe slow. Then read 2 pages of thought that sharpen courage, not comfort. Copy one line that sparks a chill of possibility. The pen anchors the idea inside muscle memory. Next, declare the win condition for the day in one sentence. Write it where you can see it. This single line becomes a compass whenever distraction prowls. Simplicity slays overwhelm. Move the body with vigor. Sweat tells the nervous system a battle is underway and you intend to win. 10 push-ups if that is all you can manage. A brisk half mile if that is all the clock allows. The scale of effort matters less than the vow. Every morning I move, therefore every morning I grow. Now craft time blocks like armor plates. Divide daylight into focused missions of 45 to 60 minutes. Between blocks, stand up, breathe deep, look at a distant point to reset eyes and mind. You are an athlete of attention, treat recovery as seriously as sprinting. At midday, pause for a quick calibration. Ask 2 questions: am I advancing the single win condition? Am I resisting the most important task? If the answer drifts from excellence, adjust instantly. Do not negotiate with procrastination. Command it. Guard food as fuel, not sedation. Choose meals that leave the mind lucid. Heavy lunches fog the launch sequence. Light, vibrant ingredients sharpen trajectory. In the afternoon, schedule a deliberate practice block. Pick one micro skill that upgrades your craft. It could be a speech technique, a graphic element, a financial analysis method. Drill it for 30 concentrated minutes. Improvement compounded daily becomes expertise the world calls talent. Before dusk, close the workday with the golden 15. Write down 3 things accomplished, 1 lesson learned, and the single most critical action for tomorrow. This deliberate closure empties mental clutter and primes subconscious gears to solve challenges as you rest. Evening is for repetition of vision. Read your major purpose statement again. Visualize the finished result in high definition. Feel the gratitude as if it were already yours. Neuroscience confirms what philosophers have said for ages: the mind rehearses reality long before the body performs it. Then unplug. Dim lights, silence devices, allow stillness to wash away the noise of commerce. A calm brain produces deeper sleep, and deep sleep is an underrated secret weapon. Growth hormone spikes, memory consolidates, immune defenses rebuild. You awaken prepared to attack another dawn. Eliminate drift triggers. Identify the specific apps, shows, or idle conversations that steal the night. Replace them with a brief walk, a laugh with family, or a chapter of biography that reminds you ordinary humans can rise to extraordinary heights when focus becomes a creed. Track this routine with ruthless honesty. Use a simple checklist on paper. Mark each completed element with a firm stroke. The accumulating marks form a visible chain of integrity. Break the chain only with legitimate rest, never with excuse. Expect monotony to whisper that skipping once will do no harm. That is a lie. Habit is fragile at the start. The first skip invites the second, then invites despair. Protect momentum at all costs. On chaotic days, compress the ritual but never delete it. 5 quality minutes preserve identity better than none. Link habit to identity. Do not say, "I am trying to wake early." Say, "I am an early riser who starts strong." Language imprints expectation. Expectation molds behavior. Behavior reinforces identity. Identity drives destiny. Remember Napoleon Hill's law of cosmic habit force, the invisible hand that locks repeated thought and action into permanent patterns. When your routine aligns with your chief aim, cosmic habit force becomes ally rather than obstacle. You will feel as though a tailwind has joined you, nudging each step forward. Stack discipline gradually. Week 1, master the dawn ritual. Week 2, add the midday calibration. Week 3, ingrain the golden 15. Each addition snaps into place like a gear in a growing machine. Complexity without mastery is chaos, simplicity mastered becomes compound power. Celebrate micro victories. Smile at the streak of 5 unbroken days, the extra push-up, the refusal to scroll mindlessly. Small applause fuels greater feats. Those who wait for colossal triumphs miss the joy that strengthens resolve. Finally, share your routine with one accountability partner. Not to brag, but to declare out loud that this path is non-negotiable. When 2 committed voices echo the same intention, wavering becomes awkward, and awkwardness can be a stronger deterrent than willpower. You have now forged a daily system that points every hour toward the explosion you seek. The launchpad is built. Fire will follow. Adversity is the tuition every champion pays for mastery. It is not a sign you are off course but proof you are on the only road that leads upward. When turbulence rattles the cabin, amateurs reach for seatbelts and pray for calm. Professionals tighten the grip on the controls and climb into clearer skies. First, name the setback for what it truly is: raw power disguised as pain. Lost clients, public criticism, empty savings, sudden illness, each carries hidden cargo. Inside every blow waits knowledge you could never buy in comfort. Record the lesson before the bruise fades. A growing library of battle notes becomes an arsenal no textbook can match. When crisis strikes, shrink the timeline. Ask, what can I control in the next 10 minutes? Forward motion, however small, snaps the spell of panic. Momentum is medicine. Send the email, map the pivot, run the mile, clean the workspace. 10 minutes of decisive action crowds out hours of useless worry. Adversity tests the truth of your routine. A weak ritual collapses under stress, a strong one flexes and holds. Use hardship as a stress test. Which habit stayed intact? Which fracture exposed a fault line? Reinforce the weak joints. Celebration hides flaws, struggle reveals them. Transform complaint into calculation. Instead of groaning, grab a sheet of paper and list variables you can still influence: skills, contacts, time blocks, technology, grit. Problems feel smaller when seen in the context of assets. The mind that audits resources begins to scheme instead of suffer. Adversity also purifies network. Fair weather friends evaporate, iron allies stay. Take note. The ones who call, who volunteer, who challenge you to rise, these are allies worthy of your next ascent. Loyalty forged in fire hardens into unbreakable alliance. Keep a highlight reel of past recoveries. When doubt insists you will not survive this blow, replay moments you already conquered. The unpaid bills you cleared, the heartbreak you outgrew, the job you rebuilt from scratch. Memory of victory rewrites prophecy. View setbacks through the lens of compounding. A single lesson embedded today amplifies decisions for decades. The dollars lost now may save millions later. The delay that frustrates you might redirect talent to a richer lane. You cannot see the entire mosaic yet, trust that every jagged tile belongs. Napoleon Hill warned that every failure carries the seed of equal or greater benefit. Seeds sprout only in receptive soil. Cultivate that soil with questions. What muscle does this pain force me to train? What new market does this rejection unveil? What character trait is being hammered into shape? Ask until the answer glows. Adversity is also a publicity stage. The world watches not how loudly you cheer in victory but how steadily you stand in defeat. Your reaction writes a story listeners will repeat long after the crisis passes. Stand tall. Speak facts. Admit fault without self-pity. Outline next steps with calm conviction. The audience, inspired, will retell the legend of your poise. Convert setbacks into systems. If a shipment failed, design a double checkpoint for future orders. If a marketing launch flopped, build a pre-launch feedback loop. Systems transform wounds into armor. The stronger the system, the less likely you bleed the same way twice. Use pain as a focusing lens. Strip away non-essentials that once felt urgent. In survival mode, only the vital remains. Notice how little you truly need to advance. Keep that lean clarity even when abundance returns. Channel frustration into physicality. Sprint, lift, box the heavy bag. Motion burns cortisol and floods the brain with growth factors. Many breakthroughs arrive mid-sweat. The body often solves puzzles the idle mind cannot. Maintain humor. Laughter breaks rigidity and invites creative solutions. Crack a joke at your own expense. Share the absurdity with a friend. Humor tilts perspective, revealing exits hidden behind gloom. Practice the 2-day rule, drown if you must, but never longer than 48 hours. Grieve, rage, rest, then stand. Rising on schedule disciplines emotion to serve mission. Finally, transform adversity into story fuel. Audiences crave authenticity. When you share scars with wisdom, listeners trust you as a guide. Your hardest chapter becomes the bridge that pulls others from their own pits. Influence blooms where vulnerability meets victory. Remember, rockets leave the Earth only by pushing against gravity. Your obstacles are that gravity, giving you the resistance necessary to launch. Lean into the push. Convert every ounce of opposition into thrust. Weld adversity onto the frame of your identity until you no longer fear impact, you hunger for it, knowing each collision hurls you higher. Growth is less about piling new tasks onto your plate and more about scraping away everything that blunts your edge. The difference between a lamp and a laser is focus. One scatters gentle light, the other cuts through steel. Your mission now is to turn your life from lamp into laser by mastering the sacred word no. Start with the rule of essential intent. If a request does not move your single dominant goal forward, it is a distraction dressed as an opportunity. Invitations to meetings, favors disguised as partnerships, endless social scrolls, each carries an invisible price tag measured in attention, not currency. You pay with hours you will never reclaim. Write a stop list beside your to-do list. On the stop list, record every activity that drains energy without significant return. Checking analytics 10 times a day. Arguing in comment threads. Attending gatherings that add nothing but idle chatter. Once written, banish them. Deletion feels brutal at first, but liberation follows. Schedule deep work blocks where outside influence cannot breach your wall. Turn the phone face down and out of reach. Close every browser tab unrelated to the mission. Inform loved ones of a silent window and honor it with warrior discipline. 1 hour of undiluted focus often achieves what scattered minds chase for days. Learn polite refusal scripts. Thank you for thinking of me. My current commitments demand full attention, so I must decline. Practice until the phrase flows like breathing. A rehearsed no prevents on-the-spot waffling that births obligations you later regret. Guard mornings for creation, evenings for reflection, and leave the noisy middle for necessary exchange. By protecting the bookends of the day, you forge pillars that hold vision aloft while the world buzzes below. Replace multitasking with sequential batching. Answer messages only during predetermined slots. Group errands into one swift expedition. Handle paperwork in one focused burst. Every switch of context bleeds mental fuel, batching seals the leak. Track attention leaks by carrying a pocket notebook. Each time you drift, jot the moment. Review nightly. Patterns emerge. You may discover specific triggers, a ringtone, a certain website, a lingering fear disguised as research. Once exposed, plug the holes with boundaries or deletion. Invest saved hours into high-leverage moves. Study persuasive storytelling, hone your unique product, deepen relationships with key allies. Focus is not only subtraction, it is strategic addition. You cut noise so you can amplify signal. Understand that every yes is a silent commitment to say no to something else. A yes to mindless scrolling can be a no to evening exercise. A yes to a low-value gig can be a no to building your own empire. View each decision through this inverse lens before committing. Use the 4-quadrant filter. Category 1, tasks you love and excel at. Category 2, tasks you excel at but drain you. Category 3, tasks you enjoy but perform poorly. Category 4, tasks you dislike and perform poorly. Aim to operate in quadrant 1. Delegate or delete the rest. Life is too short to excel at misery. Celebrate small acts of protected focus. Each time you decline a needless invitation, note the win. Positive reinforcement cements the habit. Over time your identity shifts from people pleaser to purpose guardian. Study biographies of titans who mastered selective ignorance. Edison ignored social convention during invention sprints. Jobs carved months of obsessive refinement for a single device. Their success was not magic, it was focus made flesh. Beware the courtesy trap, agreeing to obligations out of fear of seeming rude. Courtesy that bankrupts your mission is not courtesy, it is slow sabotage. True integrity is being honest about capacity so promises once made are never broken. Create a visual reminder of your principal goal above your workspace. A single phrase, a number, a vivid image. Every time temptation whispers you will meet its gaze and remember why you cannot afford dilution. Remember that saying no to external noise enables a deeper yes to internal genius. Great music lives not only in the notes but in the rests between them. Your brilliance emerges in the resting spaces you protect from intrusion. Finally, refine the art of purposeful yes. When a request aligns perfectly with your mission and ignites excitement, embrace it fully. Devote unfractured energy. The rare yes becomes a torch that lights fresh avenues of growth. The purpose of mastery is not to hoard power but to radiate it. Once your focus cuts like a laser, aim that beam outward. Influence is compound interest on disciplined action. Each person you lift becomes another carrier of your mission, another node in a growing web of possibility. Begin with value before volume. Share a single insight that saved you weeks of trial. Give it freely, clearly, without secret strings. People remember the hand that lights their path, not the one that waves for applause. Generosity plants seeds in soil you have never walked, and harvest often returns from directions you could never predict. Adopt the mentor mindset even when you feel you are still climbing. You do not have to stand on the summit to point out the footholds you used yesterday. Describe your experiments, both the triumphs and the wasted detours. Transparency breeds trust far faster than polished perfection. Curate a circle of excellence, a modern mastermind whose only membership fee is rigorous contribution. Meet weekly in person or online, cameras on, excuses off. Each member presents one challenge and one fresh learning. The group listens, questions, and prescribes a next step. Momentum multiplies when several minds lock onto a single obstacle, like engineers dismantling a wall brick by brick. Capture your lessons in repeatable frameworks. A story moves hearts, but a framework moves hands. Turn scattered breakthroughs into step-by-step checklists, into simple acronyms, into three-pillar blueprints. Frameworks survive long after inspiration fades. They let a stranger apply your method tomorrow morning without needing to feel today's surge of emotion. Leverage platforms that match your natural voice. If you think in images, share infographics. If your strength is spoken cadence, start a short daily audio segment. If you write with clarity, publish a newsletter of distilled tactics. Consistency outweighs reach at first. The audience will migrate to wherever authenticity fires strongest. Respond to early supporters with warmth. A thoughtful reply to one follower often brings 10 more, because people share experiences that validate their worth. Influence travels on the rails of human connection. Lay those rails with sincere attention, not automated pleasantries. Design signature phrases that encapsulate your philosophy. A single memorable line can echo farther than a 10-page manifesto. Napoleon Hill etched "Think and Grow Rich" into cultural stone. Craft your own compact command that nails the essence of Burn Plan B, go all in. Repeat it until people quote you in rooms you have never entered. Collaborate strategically. Seek partners whose strengths complement your blind spots. Co-create a live workshop, a joint article, a case study that blends your fire with their precision. Every collaboration braids networks and opens doors otherwise locked. But choose carefully. Reputation is marble, one careless chisel mark endures. Harness proof, not just promise. Document transformations, screenshots of progress charts, testimonials that pulse with genuine emotion, before and after metrics. Evidence turns inspiration into conviction. It whispers, "This is not theory, this works." Guard against the trap of shallow fame. Viral spikes feel glorious but fade fast if no foundation stands beneath them. Influence that lasts is built brick by brick, consistent value, genuine conversation, tangible results. Chase depth first, width follows. Teach what you most need to learn. When you instruct, gaps in your own understanding flash like warning lights. Repair them, teach again, grow together with your students in an upward spiral of mutual advancement. Practice energy hygiene. Serving a growing tribe can drain the unprepared. Schedule renewal with the same devotion you schedule outreach. Nature, silence, books, and breath, these refill the well so that every message carries fresh water, not recycled sludge. Automate what does not require your personal touch. Email sequences that welcome newcomers, resource libraries that answer common questions, checklists for assistants who manage scheduling. Automation frees creative bandwidth for the high-touch moments only you can deliver. Finally, view influence as stewardship. Each follower is a living human investing moments of precious life to hear your voice. Honor that investment. Deliver insight that helps them leap farther, climb faster, stand taller. When people feel stronger after each encounter with you, they become walking billboards for your mission, amplifiers of your ethos. Influence compounded joins all previous pillars: burned bridges, vivid goals, relentless routine, weaponized adversity, focused no, and projects them onto a wider stage. Your fire becomes a bonfire large enough for others to warm their hands, then light torches of their own. Money is not the root of all evil, money is a magnifier. In the hands of the relentless it becomes a megaphone for purpose, an accelerant for impact, a guardian of focus. To keep your fire blazing without pause, you must construct income streams as sturdy as the vision they feed. Start with the law of value before price. Craft an offer so useful that price feels like a bargain. Whether it is a service, a digital course, a handcrafted product, or a coaching package, pack it with solutions that slash pain or unlock joy. When people feel they win more than they pay, they return and bring friends. Design one signature product that solves a pressing problem for your core tribe. Pour your best frameworks, case studies, and step-by-step blueprints into it. Give the product a clear promise, a clear pathway, and a clear proof. Clarity converts. Once the flagship stands, bolt auxiliary streams around it. A lower ticket entry that delivers a quick win and introduces your philosophy. A premium mastermind for the few who crave deeper proximity. A recurring membership that supplies fresh tools each month. Multiple tiers create an escalator of value, letting supporters invest at the level that matches their hunger. Automate sales where possible. Build a simple funnel, a free resource that captures attention, a nurture sequence that educates with genuine stories, an invitation to the flagship. Automation does not replace authenticity, it scales it. Your words continue working while you sleep, turning midnight readers into dawn customers. Next, invest profits into assets, not trinkets. Buy books before gadgets, ownership stakes before fleeting thrills. Study dividend stocks, index funds, real estate, intellectual property royalties. Each asset is an employee that labors without coffee breaks, sending you cash while you strategize the next leap. Protect capital with the shield of emergency reserves. 6 months of lean operating cash calms the mind, allowing bold moves without the tremor of survival panic. Hill called fear of poverty the most common ghost that haunts ambition. Exorcise that ghost with prudent buffers. Track every dollar like a scout tracking footprints in snow. Money ignored leaks into cracks, money inspected flows with direction. Use a simple weekly review: earnings, expenses, growth investments, generosity. Data transforms emotion into informed decision. Embed generosity into every revenue plan. Allocate a fixed percent toward causes aligned with your mission. Giving rewires the subconscious from scarcity to abundance. The open hand receives with greater ease than the clenched fist. Diversify skill-based income with scaled income. Trading time for pay is a ladder rung, not the summit. Convert knowledge into products that require front-loaded effort but sell repeatedly. A well-written guide, a library of templates, a micro software tool each turns one intense week into years of trickling reward. Leverage existing platforms first rather than building from scratch. Publish on marketplaces that already gather your audience, license content to networks thirsty for quality, partner with distributors whose pipelines dwarf your own. Borrowed traffic seeds own traffic. Study taxes as diligently as sales. Money saved is money earned. Legal structures, deductions for home office, retirement contributions, all are levers that keep more fuel inside the engine. Ignorance here is volunteering donations to entities that will never thank you. Create a personal financial manifesto. One page, signed by you, declaring principles such as no consumer debt that does not produce income or experience value greater than its cost, pay myself first 10% into growth assets, funding education is an evergreen investment. Read it monthly to anchor behavior. Set quarterly revenue targets tied directly to your vivid goal from Part 2. Income without purpose becomes noise. Purpose-infused profit becomes a multiplier, allowing faster hiring, sharper tools, bolder marketing, wider reach. Build relationships with mentors fluent in money moves beyond your current league. Offer value first, research summaries, strategic introductions, minor tasks that free their schedule. When trust forms, questions answered in a single lunch can rewrite your fiscal trajectory. Remember that wealth accelerates influence when directed with integrity. Use funds to host immersive events, to sponsor scholarships, to upgrade production quality so your message pierces through digital clutter. Each dollar becomes a soldier marching under your banner. Guard mindset against arrival complacency. The first taste of surplus tempts many to soften discipline. Celebrate, then reinvest. Growth loves speed, and speed loves reinvested profits. Audit streams annually. Markets shift, platforms rise and fade, consumer needs evolve. Sunset products that lose edge, refine ones that still glitter, experiment with new formats that leverage current trends. Adaptation keeps engines roaring. Lastly, teach your tribe the same money principles once they prove their power. A community that grows richer together becomes a fortress. When everyone in the circle thrives, collaborations bloom, referrals surge, and collective resilience fortifies each member against downturns. Sprint victories thrill, but empires are raised by relentless strides that outlast seasons. Explosive growth must mature into enduring greatness, a flame that refuses to dim even when applause fades and novelty dissolves. To harden your drive for the marathon, cultivate rituals, beliefs, and recovery cycles that weave persistence into bone. Anchor identity in purpose, not mood. Feelings rise and dip like coastal tides, but purpose is bedrock. Each morning, recite your chief aim aloud until it vibrates through every cell. You are not a tourist of ambition visiting when weather is mild, you are a settler who plants flag and stays through storms. When the mind seeks excuses, purpose replies, we keep going because this is who we are. Install the discipline of micro wins. Large milestones arrive at intervals, but the mind hungers for steadier reward. Create daily scorecards that grant a point for each crucial behavior, writing pages, making calls, refining skill. A chain of check marks builds a visible legacy of progress. On bleak days the record itself whispers, look how far we have marched, of course we will press on. Cycle effort with intentional rest. A bow kept forever drawn loses power. Schedule renewal like a CEO schedules strategy sessions. 2 hours on Sunday for nature, music, or mindful silence. Quarterly retreats where devices sleep in a drawer and imagination roams unsupervised. Recovery is not laziness, it is sharpening the axe so each swing bites deeper. Practice mental contrast. First visualize your triumphant future in vivid color. Then, with equal clarity, picture the obstacles likely to block the trail, fatigue, rejection, tempting shortcuts. By rehearsing the clash, you arm yourself with pre-written counters. Research shows goals paired with realistic obstacle planning generate higher perseverance than fantasy alone. Feed the mind a steady diet of strengthening inputs. Read biographies of long-haul legends, scientists who spent decades on a theorem, athletes who trained through injury, entrepreneurs who endured market ice ages. Their stories encode neural proofs that long fights are winnable. Rotate mediums to avoid stagnation, dense books for depth, podcasts for inspiration on the move, peer conversations for direct sparring. Guard environment against energy vampires. Some people radiate momentum, others siphon it. Perform a relationship audit each season. If an acquaintance drags conversations into gossip or chronic complaint, reduce exposure. Fill the vacuum with allies who challenge complacency and celebrate persistence louder than quick fame. Transform setbacks into stamina drills. View every delay not as lost time but as endurance training, extra miles that forge capacity. When funding lags or metrics plateau, tell yourself, this is the hill that separates sprinters from marathoners, crest it and the field thins. Reframing hardship as proof of elite progress refracts pain into pride. Codify a feedback ritual. Each week, answer 3 blunt questions. What moved the mission forward? What held it back? What will change by next Friday? Keep responses short and actionable. This loop keeps trajectory true without drowning in analysis paralysis. Leverage rhythmic novelty. Humans crave variety, so refresh expression without straying from core purpose. Tackle a new sub-skill every 90 days, launch an experimental format for your audience, switch workout styles. Novelty sparks dopamine, but rhythm converts that spark into a generator. Label and neutralize burnout signals early. Watch for creeping cynicism, chronic fatigue, joyless execution. When symptoms surface, downshift before the engine seizes. Shorten daily targets, delegate temporary tasks, extend sleep. Better to pause for maintenance than limp for months. Build legacy markers. Establish milestones that echo beyond personal gain, scholarships funded, community projects launched, apprentices trained. Legacy reframes effort from self-driven grind to collective elevation, multiplying meaning and immunizing against quit mania. Celebrate endurance publicly. Share year-over-year progress charts, behind-the-scenes struggles conquered, lessons from 1,000-day streaks. Your transparency inspires others and reminds you that persistence is itself a milestone worthy of spotlight. Adopt Napoleon Hill's mantra of persistence: every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Memorize this sentence, place it where weary eyes will need it. The words vibrate like a drumbeat, sinking heart to the rhythm of relentless advance. Finally, remember the cosmic habit force, unseen gravity that locks repeated thoughts and acts into automatic pattern. Persist long enough and drive becomes nature. What once demanded iron will turns effortless, like lungs remembering to breathe. At that stage, quitting would feel alien, success inevitable. Value without visibility is like a lighthouse with the lamp unlit. Your ideas may save cities, but if no one sees the beam, ships still crash against rocks. Having sharpened focus and forged resilience, you must now learn how to shine so bright that opportunity feels magnetized to your orbit. Led with signature authority. Choose one flagship channel where your voice rings clearest. Pour your best insight there until you become the trusted name people mention in hallway conversations. Whether it is weekly long-form video, a rich podcast, or a compelling newsletter, consistency plus quality forges recognition faster than scattering crumbs across every platform. Build a story bank. Keep a living document of personal anecdotes, student wins, striking metaphors, and statistics that validate your message. When cameras roll or interviews call, you will never grope for words. Story is the ancient key that unlocks attention. Facts glued to narrative stay lodged in memory. Employ the clarity hook. In every public touchpoint, answer 3 silent questions within 10 seconds. Who are you? What problem do you solve? And for whom? Ambiguity is the enemy of recall. Nail the hook and listeners instantly file you in the mental cabinet marked useful expert. Craft visual identity. Select 2 primary colors, 1 accent shade, 1 headline font, 1 supporting font. Use them everywhere: thumbnails, slides, social banners, event booths. Repetition breeds familiarity, and familiarity breeds trust before a single sentence is read. Leverage borrowed stages. Guest on podcasts whose audiences overlap your mission, write columns for industry blogs, speak in virtual summits. Each borrowed stage injects you into new ecosystems without months of audience cultivation. Arrive prepared, deliver uncommon value, exit with fresh allies and subscribers. Turn audience into ambassadors. Thank early supporters by name, feature their success stories, invite feedback that shapes new products. People protect what they help build. When they feel ownership in your journey, they spread the word with pride rather than obligation. Use the rule of echo. Repeat key phrases across formats so each idea resonates multiple times. A concept introduced in a newsletter becomes a social snippet, then a slide in your webinar, then a pull quote in an interview. Repetition is not redundancy, it is reinforcement. Engage through micro-interaction. Reply to comments, record short personalized videos, ask insightful questions in polls. These moments of human touch turn passive viewers into active participants. An audience talked with stays longer than an audience talked at. Publish proof of progress. Share behind-the-scenes glimpses of goals met, prototype sketches, beta testers in action. Transparency invites spectators into the engine room and proves momentum is real, not merely promised. Master the headline arts. Study the curiosity gaps that pull readers into stories, the power verbs that animate action, the tension builders that keep eyes glued until the payoff. A magnetic headline is the front door to your mansion of value. Polish the door until it gleams. Synchronize releases with audience rhythm. Use analytics to reveal peak engagement hours, then deliver content when the crowd is gathered. Landing a message at the precise beat of need multiplies reach without spending a single extra coin on promotion. Stack social proof. Display testimonials, media logos, award badges earned honestly. Social proof accelerates trust by borrowing credibility from the collective voice of others who have already walked through your doors and thrived. Host live experiences. Webinars, Q&A streams, pop-up challenges, live interactions inject urgency and intimacy into the relationship. Record them, clip them, redistribute highlights to triple their lifespan. Respect the law of incremental reveal. Offer a taste before the buffet. Lead magnets, micro courses, teaser chapters. Each low barrier asset proves your worth and primes the market for deeper investment. Measure what matters. Track impressions, click-throughs, watch time, opt-ins, conversions, but do not drown in vanity stats. Tie metrics back to your core mission. Are these numbers moving lives, building revenue engines, and sustaining the flame for the long haul? Guard authenticity like treasure. Visibility won by theatrics but lacking substance crumbles under scrutiny. Speak truth even when it risks shorter reach. Long-term loyalty grows on the soil of genuine conviction. Reinforce the narrative arc. Every content piece should advance the same saga. You chose to burn Plan B, you mastered focus, you conquered adversity, and now you invite others to step into the fire. A unified arc turns scattered posts into chapters of an epic that followers binge like a gripping series. Close each spotlight moment with a clear path. Subscribe, enroll, share, implement. Tell the audience exactly how to step further into your universe. Attention without action dries up like rain on desert sand. Invest in amplification once the message converts organically. Paid ads, influencer sponsorships, contest prizes, these pour gasoline on proven flames. Amplify only what already resonates, otherwise you broadcast noise louder. Celebrate milestones publicly. 1,000 subscribers, first 5-figure launch, charity target met. Share wins to model possibility and triggers social validation loops. Your triumph becomes their evidence. Strategic visibility is not vanity, it is duty. Your mission cannot liberate those who never hear it, and darkness continues where the lighthouse hides its beam. Stand tall, shine brighter, and invite the world to navigate by your light. Great missions collapse when the builder clings to every brick. You were never meant to push every wheel, answer every ping, seal every envelope. Progress at scale demands leverage, the art of multiplying impact while lightening personal load. Freedom is not the absence of work, it is the presence of work that only you can do. Audit your task universe. For 7 days write every action you touch, from deep strategy to inbox dusting. Then run each item through a 2-word filter, only me. If the answer is no, the task is fuel for leverage. 1. Delegate with precision. Identify the skills that complement your weakness. Hire a virtual assistant for calendar wrangling, a designer for thumbnail brilliance, a copy editor for polish. Draft clear process docs, step-by-step checklists, screen recordings, expected outcomes. Delegation fails when instructions live only in your head. Release control in stages, watch one rehearsal, give refined feedback, then grant autonomy. Trust built through small wins grows into full ownership. 2. Automate the predictable. Time is wasted repeating the repeatable. Map your user journey from first encounter to core product. Install email sequences that educate, invite, and follow up. Use scheduling tools that open meeting slots without email tennis. Set up payment systems that deliver receipts and onboarding material without human hands. Each automation is a silent employee delivering consistency at midnight and noon alike. 3. Systemize creative flow. Creativity thrives inside reliable frameworks. Build content pipelines, idea capture in a voice note app, outline drafting on Friday, recording on Monday, editing on Wednesday, publishing Thursday dawn. Use project boards to visualize status, idea, scripting, production, live. When the board tracks the chaos, your mind roams free to invent. 4. Harness smart technology. Adopt tools that magnify craft without stealing soul. Speech to text for rapid drafting. AI-powered transcript search to repurpose long videos into articles. Design software with brand templates preloaded so every thumbnail takes minutes, not hours. But remember, tech is servant, never ruler. Review metrics weekly to confirm each tool saves more hours than it costs. 5. Protect a maker's schedule. Leverage clears clutter so prime hours revert to deep creation. Block mornings for strategy, afternoons for team sync, late day for reflection. Guard these windows with calendar armor. If a request threatens sacred maker time, propose alternate slots or delegate attendance. 6. Build a talent ladder. Recruit apprentices who ascend with you. Start them on simple support, then coach them upward through layers of responsibility. A team that grows internally carries culture in its DNA. Tie incentives to mission milestones, shared revenue, public recognition, skill training budgets. Loyalty blossoms where growth feels mutual. 7. Create a living playbook. Document every proven process from launch checklists to customer support scripts. House it in a cloud folder labeled Master Playbook. Update whenever iteration refines a step. New hires onboard in days, not months. Emergencies trigger action without frantic calls. 8. Set leverage metrics. Track hours spent in Genius Zone, a place where effort feels like art. Track revenue per hour of personal input. Track tasks completed without your touch. Rising metrics signal compounding leverage, flat lines reveal leaks. 9. Celebrate invisible wins. Praise the assistant whose timely follow-up saved a sale, the automation that nudged cart abandoners back, the template that have design time. Recognition reminds the team that even backstage roles move the spotlight. 10. Reinforce culture through story. Share anecdotes of how leverage unlocked breakthroughs, the afternoon freed by delegation that birthed a flagship idea, the auto email sequence that welcomed a future partner while you slept. Story cements principle faster than policy. 11. Avoid leverage traps. Do not outsource vision, ethics, or voice. The captain steers, the crew rows. Over-reliance on tools breeds brittle systems that crack when software dies. Maintain manual fallback routes and train mines, not just mouse clicks. 12. Reinvest saved energy. Pour liberated hours into mastery, relationships, and well-being. The goal is not idleness, it is higher altitude thinking. Sketch the next product ladder, mentor the next generation, walk in nature until fresh patterns emerge. Leverage is the gate between hustle and empire. Once crossed, each sunrise delivers multiplied return on the same slice of lifetime. With delegation humming, automation clicking, and a team marching, you stand atop a platform that rises even while you sleep. You have burned the bridge of retreat, carved a vivid goal, mastered routine, weaponized adversity, wielded focus no, amplified influence, built roaring income engines, sustained a marathon mindset, commanded the spotlight, and leveraged freedom. Now comes the highest summit, the point where ambition transcends personal triumph and steps into history. Legacy is not marble statues or gold plaques. Legacy is the ripple that continues long after the stone is gone from sight. Begin with the endmost question. When future voices speak your name, what solution will their gratitude recall? Reduce that answer to one sentence you can etch on the wall. Clarity here shapes every decision that follows. A vague legacy leaves scattered footprints. A precise legacy imprints deep, guiding generations like a North Star. Shift focus from accumulation to multiplication. Instead of asking how much more can I earn, ask how many more leaders can I raise, how many systems can I seed that keep bearing fruit long after my hands release the reins. True legacy is scale beyond the founder. Write a codex of principles. Capture the mental models, decision filters, cultural norms that powered your rise. Do not let them vanish inside scattered memories. Bind them into a slim manual, revise it yearly, gift it to every mentee. Principles endure where policies expire. Establish institutional structures. A foundation that funds ideas aligned with your mission, a scholarship that carries your name into classrooms, a research lab that tackles grand problems. Institutions transform personal fire into an eternal torch passed from steward to steward. Design succession early. Identify protégés whose heartbeat matches the vision. Train them in phases. First shadow, then collaborate, then lead while you watch, then lead while you are absent. Transferring power before necessity avoids panic and preserves culture. Protect intellectual property as heritage. Secure copyrights, patents, trademarks. Place them in trusts that guarantee ethical use. Intellectual assets can fund future breakthroughs long after physical assets decay. Practice public gratitude to mentors who lifted you. Name them in speeches, donate in their honor, write forewords that preserve their lessons. By extending their legacy, you model the chain of stewardship and invite your successors to honor yours. Embed generosity as a default line in every balance sheet. Allocate fixed percentages of profit to community uplift, environmental restoration, or artistic patronage. Systemized giving outlives emotional giving, ensuring the river of support never dries when moods shift. Document the journey with honesty. Record struggles, pivots, near failures alongside victories. Future builders learn more from your cracks than your polish. A legacy of authenticity empowers others to face reality with courage instead of chasing filtered myths. Utilize storytelling to seed values into culture. Craft parables from pivotal moments, share them in forums, podcasts, fireside gatherings. Stories bypass defenses, lodging lessons directly into memory. When tales of your decisive stand circulate, they reinforce the behaviors you cherish. Invest in timeless education. Sponsor libraries, write open courses, endow chairs at universities, digitize archives for global access. Knowledge liberated from paywalls multiplies in silence, teaching minds yet unborn. Adopt an apprentice every season. Select one promising soul, give them direct exposure to real stakes, demand excellence, supply tools. 12 apprentices in 3 years can alter industries when each launches with compounded wisdom. Guard legacy from dilution. As fame grows, opportunists will seek your brand for superficial gain. Institute brand guidelines, ethical licensing terms, and a council empowered to revoke misuse. A strong gate maintains purity long after memory fades. Leverage media that endures. Print books last centuries, while hosted digital archives can persist indefinitely. Films preserved on secure platforms survive format shifts. Choose mediums with longevity and migrate content as technology evolves. Plan the great finale of your personal career with intention. Whether it is a final keynote, a capstone project, or a philanthropic moonshot, design a closing act that crystallizes decades of insight into one unforgettable beacon. A deliberate culmination echoes louder than a gradual fade. Nurture your health to extend active years. Legacy grows tallest when the architect remains present to guide its first maturity. Prioritize sleep, nutrition, and mindfulness as fiercely in late chapters as in youth. Remember Hill's counsel that thoughts are deeds in waiting. Maintain the habit of elevated thinking until your very presence evokes higher standards in every room. Influence by example is the most silent yet potent form of bequest. Finally, let humility wrap the entire endeavor. Legacy is not ego embalmed, it is service extended. Be the gardener who plants trees whose shade he may never rest under, and trust that children yet unborn will read by light filter through leaves you tended. When your legacy framework stands, you transform from a comet blazing briefly to a constellation guiding forever. Each pillar you built earlier, goal, routine, influence, wealth, leverage, now slots into place as support beams for an edifice larger than any single life. A mission lives or dies by the moment it leaps from the founder's chest into the hearts of thousands. You have forged every pillar: clarity, routine, resilience, focus, influence, wealth, endurance, visibility, leverage, legacy. Now breathe them into a living movement that strides forward whether your voice is present or silent. Begin with a clear rally cry. Reduce the entire philosophy into one vivid sentence that anyone can shout in a crowded street and feel its truth ring. When strangers repeat your words to strangers, the spark has left your fingertips and begun its own pilgrimage. Create rituals of belonging. Weekly wins posts inside the community, monthly challenge sprints, annual summits where stories are shared beside campfire or camera lens. Rituals convert scattered followers into bonded tribe, forging memory that persists when algorithms shift. Pass the microphone often. Invite members to teach what they mastered because of the mission. Peer teaching multiplies authority faster than any broadcast. When newcomers witness classmates giving lessons, they grasp that leadership is available to all who apply the code, not a privilege hoarded by the founder. Codify symbols. A simple badge, a color band, a mantra inscribed on journals. Symbols compress identity into wearable form. They whisper we are on the same path long before words are exchanged. Embed service at the core. Organize volunteer drives, mentorship chains, scholarships funded by product revenue. Movements rooted in service outlast those powered purely by personal gain, because goodwill refills emotional capital when hype wanes. Open source a portion of your frameworks. Release a free starter toolkit, a checklist, a public database of case studies. When the most valuable lessons circulate with your name attached, they act as homing beacons guiding fresh faces back to the source. Allow evolution. Appoint councils from diverse regions, industries, and age groups to propose updates to the playbook. A movement that adapts becomes evergreen rather than relic. Your role shifts from commander to gardener, pruning, watering, letting new shoots unfurl where light demands. Safeguard ethos. Publish a code of conduct and enforce it without favoritism. Integrity preserved in early growth cements moral spine in later scale. Betrayal of values fractures trust more than any external attack. Celebrate micro-revolutions. Spotlight the teacher who used the principles to transform a classroom, the athlete who rebounded from injury, the entrepreneur who lifted a village economy. Every story is both proof and invitation, a quiet dare that says you could be next. Institutionalize education pipelines, certification tracks, mentorship ladders, fellowships for advanced research. Credentials backed by real outcomes turn movement identity into professional currency. Plan yearly convergence. Whether digital or in person, a grand gathering solidifies culture. Launch new initiatives, honor stalwarts, retell origin myths, and cast vision for 12 months ahead. Excitement born in shared space radiates outward for weeks. Finally, step back at intervals. Observe if the flame still burns bright without constant fanning. When leaders you once mentored now mentor others, when events you did not organize trend beyond your networks, you will know the movement has gained its own gravity. Smile, refine, and prepare to serve from a higher vantage. A glimpse of what comes next. You have burned Plan B to ash and watched explosive growth take flight. Yet a quieter enemy still lurks, the slow erosion of boredom that turns giants into quitters. In our next journey, beat boredom, master the dull, become unstoppable Napoleon Hill, we will uncover how boredom, not failure, silently steals more dreams than any obstacle you have faced. We will forge tactics to turn repetition into rocket fuel and monotony into mastery. Are you ready to weaponize the ordinary? Stay tuned, subscribe, and keep your notifications on. The moment the episode drops, be first in line to learn how the dull, practiced with devotion, becomes the unstoppable. Until then, keep the bridges burning and the momentum alive.